Hello, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you for tuning back in to episode number 7 of Into Reality, where I continue my conversation with Yocheved. That's right, this is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, please go to episode number 6 and watch so you can be caught up and not confused as to what we're talking about, what we did discuss on last week's episode. I am so happy that you're here once again watching me as I turn my idea into reality. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Okay, so yeah, you end up staying. What's like your plan?
I didn't have one.
Okay, and at this point, had you already started this Facebook group?
No.
How are you arranging the donations and volunteering things that you were involved in at this time?
There wasn't so much volunteering.
Yeah,
I couldn't find anything. Mm-hmm. But I got to travel around to different bases with Iran Reichel, and that was super cool. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was sick. It was like 3 concerts in a day with all the soldiers.
That's
amazing. It was so cool.
Wait, how did you get to do that? How do you...
I met, he's actually now on the board of our nonprofit.
Amazing.
As we open it up. But I met this guy named Drew. He texted me, he's like, I heard you're doing stuff for the war. I'm coming to Israel. And he came. And we both were like, we don't know where to volunteer. We don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I had no real Israeli connection at this point.
Right.
And so I ended up moving out of Gillies and moving into an Airbnb. And I was planning on going home. I just didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do. I was going to apply for new jobs and kind of just figure it out.
Go home Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, I'm going to push my flight off and I'm going to leave and then I'm going to figure something out. But I wanted to get into something new anyway. And I ended up, my brother calls me and he's like, you have to meet this couple, Shai and Hagit. I just picked up a drone from their house. They were importing drones into Israel for the military. Mm-hmm. Hundreds of drones at this point they brought in.
Amazing.
Which is millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
He's like, you have to meet them. And he told them about me also. I remember getting a text from Shai being like, we heard we need to meet you. I ended up meeting them and getting together and I told Hagit, this is my idea. I think we really need to centralize volunteering efforts. And the guy that I had traveled around the bases with, we were talking about this too, because it was what do you do? You're an American in Israel, you want to come help, and there's no way to help.
Yeah.
So I went to Hagit and I was like, we have to centralize volunteering. And she said, okay, I'm in all these WhatsApp groups for volunteering. I'll put you in them, but they're all in Hebrew. I was like, okay. So I made a Facebook group, and I was like, what are people going to be searching for? Being the marketing SEO girl that I am.
When was this?
November 12th.
November 12th.
I called it Sword of Iron, the name of the war, Israel volunteer opportunities. So I was like, somebody's going to be searching for one of these keywords and they'll come across us. So I got put in all these WhatsApp groups and I spent the first few weeks, I was working probably 18 to 20 hours a day.
That's
crazy. Translate, post. Copy, translate, post. And El Yom Tov Emmanuel, she's on our page. I don't know if you've seen her.
I see her, yeah.
She's incredible. I love her. I have a whole new family because of this community.
Yeah, it's amazing.
She joined our group on day 1, and she's been essential to the growth of the group. So Hagit and I founded it. Yael has been with us since day 1, and since then we've added 3 more team members really, but 2 that are actively working on the group, Ariel and Sarah.
Amazing.
They're incredible. And we've just been growing consistently by about 1,000 people a week.
Yeah, I see. It's really amazing.
And our active user rate is through the roof. People stay and they use it even when they leave.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest blessing in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's the biggest example of I don't know, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a good reason, and it's nice when you can see the good reason. So this is just a microscopic thing in your life and in how you've been able to impact others positively through this terrible thing that happened and is ongoing right now.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
When you start to do something for other people, I've always been so focused on money. I'm going to be rich. I want to build an empire, all this stuff. And my first job out of college, I was making a lot of money. But you can't, the money is not worth your soul.
Yeah, 100%.
And when you start doing something that gives back to other people and helps other people and you see the impact, that it has on their life,
I agree.
it's priceless.
Yeah. Where are the group is mainly Americans, you would say, or no?
It's global.
Mm-hmm.
We have Americans, Australians. I actually just did an interview today with the Australian newscast.
Amazing.
We have Israelis, but it's mostly English speakers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, which is really important because I'm also in some volunteering group chats that are in Hebrew, and my Hebrew is solid, but it takes me more brain power. So if I just have it in a native tongue of mine, it's a lot easier to read. And family and people that I know that have visited Israel since, I send them your group and they love it.
Thank you.
They love it. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
So you've been doing a lot of interviews or just some?
Yeah, we've been doing a decent amount of interviews, and I went on a small speaking tour, but I'm going to plan out a actual speaking tour and go travel to different communities, really around the world.
Amazing.
They want me to come to the UK, Toronto. I didn't hit the West Coast yet in America, and I'm being called to Colorado and California.
Wow.
So it's been a whirlwind, and really my goal is just going to inspire people to do something outside their comfort zone.
I agree, 100%.
So many people these days being caught up in their own worlds, and they're feeling alone, and they're feeling scared, and they're feeling helpless. And you don't have to feel like that because there are ways to help.
I agree. And I think something for me that is internal motivation for me to want to actively volunteer, and I think I can do so much more. I'm nowhere near you at all, but I try. I think when I'm older and I look back at this time, first of all, you're gonna be so proud of yourself for looking back at what you accomplished and how you were able to help the war efforts without serving in the IDF.
Yeah.
I didn't serve in the IDF either. So that's something I'm always thinking about. I want to be able to feel good about how I spent my time, and just by living here and contributing to the economy, I know is one thing positive. But I'm constantly reflecting and hoping to volunteer more, which I think is super important. I try to wake up every morning with a purpose. I wake up, do my morning routine. I'll put on my tefillin quickly, and I'll try to pencil out some time to read throughout my day. I mentioned working on my podcast. What do I do with my time? I have a to-do list. I'm a very analytical person. I'm always looking. All right, I'm done with this. Gonna do this.
Any good book recommendations?
Yeah, I have a lot. Are you on Goodreads?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we'll add each other on Goodreads.
I have two of my favorites with me right now. For everybody, this is the best book you'll ever read. It's an essential. Everybody needs to read it. Have you read it?
No, it looks.
It's so good.
Looks very intimidating.
It's not. Take it piece by piece.
Whoa! Well, you've already read it. You just carried it around?
No, I'm in the process of reading it.
Okay, amazing. And the second?
Any business people out there, this is such a good book.
Contagious. Why things catch on.
Yeah. Super interesting. I'm in the middle of reading it too. I like to have a couple books in rotation.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Keeps it fresh.
Wait, so what's your favorite? What kind of books do you like to read?
I like Holocaust books. I like some romance.
Man's Search for Meaning?
Man's Search for Meaning is amazing.
Yeah.
I am not huge into self-help books because I think they're repetitive. But I think psychological, and I don't know, there are self-help and really practical ones that are good.
They get very repetitive.
They could get yeah. But my reading is all over the place, and something that I try to always improve myself as an individual. So
hey, we all do what we can to make our dreams happen.
Exactly. Which I'm super grateful that I had a conversation with a friend, and she said, listen, don't stress too much. Take this as an opportunity to lean into your creative side, do things that you want to do. And I've been wanting to start a podcast forever. I didn't know about what to start it, And me bringing this podcast into reality is like with 3 goals in mind. 1, putting people, creators like yourself, businesses or ideas on a pedestal, making them feel good. And number 2 is using you guys in a positive way to motivate and inspire other people that have businesses or ideas living in their head to like act on it, because like human beings are incredible. Like we have the power to do so many things, and a lot of people procrastinate a lot, and it's natural to do it, but like we gotta act. And then number 3, like to meet new people. Like it's always good to hear from people, connect, and like I mentioned to you when we spoke on the phone, if someone doesn't want me to post it, I don't care. It's like, look how nice this conversation has already been. I'm super grateful like to be here, and I'm learning a lot, like episode by episode, about content creation.
You have to read that book, Contagious. It'll teach you a lot. Yeah. Amazing.
I'll add it to my list.
I took one of their techniques and put it on my reel today, and it was like,
really?
Yeah. But that's super interesting, and it's good goals. And if you're not gonna, right now is the time for you to try everything that you've ever
100%.
wanted to do, because you don't have kids, right?
No.
You don't have a wife, right?
No.
You have nothing but yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're going to fail and you're going to try things, now is going to be the time to do it.
I agree 100%. If there are any limits to like volunteer places that want to promote themselves on your page?
Yeah, we have values that we stick by.
Okay.
And it's one of the reasons that I think our page has been so successful. We don't let any donation asks into the page. We don't let anything that costs money really onto the page, so you'll never see like, please pay here. There's so much donor fatigue happening right now since the war. Everybody needs money. Everybody's asking for money. Every soldier needs gear. Our community is not the place for that. You come to our page to feel safe. You come to our page to feel supported and inspired. You don't come to be asked for your money. You come to say, how can I help?
Wait, yes, and something I love about the page is like people sharing their experiences, and I know it's something you're always saying, share like your volunteer experiences, which is super important.
That's grown the group.
Yeah, especially in the subject of like inspiration and just helping spread positivity. I think it's super important.
We don't just centralize volunteering efforts. These WhatsApp groups centralize volunteering efforts. We're doing Cause Barah from a different angle. We're showing people that, number 1, if a 65-year-old can do it, if a 30-year-old can do it, if somebody with a disability can do it, if somebody with a broken leg can do it, you can too.
Yeah.
Here's how you can do it. Here's how we did it. And look around us. We're in a war zone, but we're not in a war zone. So you see one thing on the news and you see another online. Like, people don't realize, if you're not here or you don't have friends here, that Israel is not this. We're not getting rockets rained down on us in the cities every day, and it's actually safe to be here. I would argue it's safer to be here than it is to be in the States right now.
I agree. Certain parts,
Toronto, the Jews there, they feel so unsafe. I was in New York, and I was literally getting harassed. It's like, excuse me, like, this is insane. So I feel safer here than I do there. And so when people share their experience, it's how our group has grown to what it is, and they never know who they are inspiring to follow in their footsteps.
Yeah.
Because the volunteer opportunities alone don't inspire people. It's the testimonies, and it's the story, and it's the emotion, and it's the experience that they had. That's what inspires people.
Yeah. Did you volunteer a lot, like, before this?
No.
Wow.
I'm all about, like, helping people. I think one of my goals in life is to enable people to do things outside of their comfort zones and to inspire people. But no, not besides like mandatory. Actually, I went to Ghana, I went to Africa when I was in high school by myself.
Cool. So with a program?
Not really.
Okay.
There was an online program I found, and it was my senior year, and we had like a 2-week internship, and I was like, okay, I don't want to go be an intern for 2 weeks. I want to go travel. So I found this I found this volunteer opportunity, like a mission trip online.
Nice.
But you fly there by yourself. It's not actually, like, you don't really know what it is. And it ended up being fine. I survived and had an incredible experience.
That's amazing.
24-hour trip traveling by myself to Africa when I was 17.
That's crazy.
So maybe this has been in my blood for a little bit.
Yeah, it's been in your subconscious, in your blood. Yeah, it's crazy how like these things that like maybe you don't think are gonna make such a big impact on your life, like end up like leading you somewhere where you never thought.
Yeah, I went to like the third world part of Ghana, Africa, by myself when I was 17 to go volunteer, and
that's wild.
Let me tell you, if you're ever feeling unappreciative of your life,
go there. I can imagine.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Wow. And do you already see or know what like the final goal for this nonprofit that you're starting is?
I mean, we're changing as the needs change, and we're growing and evolving. So we just put together our board. We're getting ready to file the paperwork. We have a list of different initiatives and things that we want to start and that we want to do. And as soon as we have all that put together, we'll post it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I built a little janky website.
Yourself?
Yeah, on Wix.
But you know, like SEO and stuff. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. No, I like built my own website on Wix too, just to like have myself online present, but like super like not like aesthetically pleasing but it's like black and whatever.
Send it to me. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. No, it's a start. You know, it's something that like when I have downtime, I like to be productive. So anytime I have like time to
awesome
work on it or work on myself in anything, I try to like make good use of my time.
How's adjusting to being in Israel been for you? Since being back, when did you get back to Israel?
So I came back. Okay, so the war started. I went back to South Florida. I was with my family for like a month and a half, and I've always had a dream of living in the UK.
Okay.
And I was working remotely for my Israeli company at this point. And in the first week of December, I went to the UK to live in London for 2 months. I completed my dream, and as much as I appreciated that experience, like I don't need to live in London ever again.
Why?
The weather was like gloomy and like so. Also, the company I was working for closed like 2 weeks into me being there. So like the gloomy weather and me not having a job like made it a little harder to get out of bed in the morning. I was still like, you know, enjoying the city. I went to like a bunch of like theater productions, which I love. I went to like some sporting events, which was cool.
You're so fun. You love to do all these things. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So I'm very grateful for that. But that lifestyle like wasn't a lifestyle that like that allowed me to be the best version of myself in a way. So I went back to Miami in February. I had like a family wedding. Then came back in March, and my mom is Colombian, like Latin Jewish mother, and she's like very overprotective, and she has a hard time with me living here, even though she like raised me to be a huge Zionist. Just has a hard time with me living here. And I told her, which was the truth at the time, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go back to Israel for 4 weeks, and I'm gonna see if I want to keep living there right now. And I got here, and like 2 days after I got here, I'm like, yeah, I want to keep living here. Like, you know, I don't have a job, but like I'm not like I just worked for like a high-tech company. Like I'm very confident in myself as an individual, as an employee. Like I will figure it out. I need to make this decision and then figure it out.
Did you sign an apartment?
So that's also a blessing in disguise that I didn't sign an apartment. I was so stressed. I'm like, why can't I find an apartment? October 7th happened. I'm like, wow, thank God I'm not locked into a lease now.
Listen, I heard something. It says rejection is God's protection.
Yes. Oh, I need to remember that with all these companies I've gotten rejected
Rejection is God's protection.
Yeah. So I ended up coming back. Thankfully I was staying in a friend's place for basically free for the month of March. Then came back in April and I signed a lease. Contract ends in October, but I'm hoping to re-sign.
Incredible.
Where
is it?
On King George, near the Shuk. Yeah.
Sweet location.
Yeah. Where are you living now?
Ben Yehuda. You know 126?
I do know 126. Nice. Do you go to 126 or no?
Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. How are you with your Judaism? You don't have to label it.
No. So, you know, growing up religious, you live Judaism through someone else's version of what Judaism is.
I can imagine.
And as you get older and you start to say, okay, this works for me, this doesn't, I understand this, I don't understand that, you start to form Judaism for what it means to you.
Hey. That was cool.
People are funny. It happens like depends on where I'm at.
Yeah.
Sometimes people like really freak out. Like it doesn't feel real when that happens. But anyway, so now I'm coming back to like my Judaism and the traditions of it. I just lit Shabbat candles for the first time this week.
Congrats.
Thank you. Shabbat dinner is a non-negotiable for me now, every single week.
Amazing.
I want to start going to shul. I'm attempting to keep like kosher style, so no non-kosher meat as much as I can. Sometimes I get hungry, but
Yeah.
you know, it happens. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And I was dating Christians before October 7th.
Yeah.
I had a Christian boyfriend. I thought I was going to marry him.
I think,
you know, thank God things didn't work out. I can't imagine not being with a Jew now.
Yeah.
I want nothing but Jewish babies. I didn't even want a big family before. Now I want like 6 little Jewish babies running around. I want like a nice Jewish family.
That's nice.
So I'm coming back to it, but I'm doing it in a way that makes sense for me.
Which is the best way. I think so. Me too. Like I didn't grow up as religious as you, from what you've shared. But also finding my own path in it, and like, you know, I'm not Shomer Shabbat, but like, I've been keeping my phone like on me, off. I share my location with people, and like my friends here aren't specifically observant, and I don't want to like isolate myself on Shabbat. So I'll share my location. I'll spend most of Saturday like on the beach.
It's the best in Israel.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You can like keep Shabbat and still be social because you see everybody. You walk around and everyone's out.
Exactly. I've been going to like shul on Friday nights.
126?
I've gone to 126 a couple of times. And like I've gone alone because like I don't know, like I'm not in the circle.
Cool. You inspire me. You like do things alone. I love it.
Thank you. And it's not easy. Like I make it sound like so easy, but like, you know, it's something that like I work through, like, you know, being alone, and like, you know, I can say I'm like 100% comfortable in it. And there are times when I am, and there's times when I'm like, oh, I would rather be with someone doing this activity right now.
Of course. If you ever go to 126, text me.
No, I will, for sure.
I have so many friends now that go, and like I'll introduce you.
I've met people as well, which is awesome, and like, yeah, love meeting people. I think the biggest thing that I wanted to say about like Judaism, finding your own way, for me, it's very important that I don't guilt myself when I do something that is like an avera, something that's not halachically correct. Because I think it allows me to like focus on the positive a lot more. And at the end of the day, I'm working towards something. I envision like having a family and like being Shomer Shabbat, and not like Shomer Shabbat because like I think like if you use technology on Shabbat like it's bad. Just like
a value system.
I want to value that like family time. Like I know there's like technicalities that you can't like
light.
No, what's the thing of like
you have to get someone to turn the light off for you.
No, if you like go in a pool, you can't like
wring things out, you can't braid hair, you can't brush your hair.
So, like, things like that, which are very technical, and like maybe I would get there, but I envision like my perfect Shabbat is like waking up, maybe going to shul, we'll see, Shabbos lunch, then spending the day like playing board games, pool with my family, and like just chilling.
Do you do Shabbat dinner?
I do Shabbat dinner, which I'm very grateful for as well. Like the people and the friends that I've met here, I'm so grateful that like I have like social life here that I like feel very comfortable in, and I love bringing people together. So like if you ever need people, like I'm sure I'll meet people through you. I'm sure you'll meet people through me. That would be beautiful.
For sure. That's what Israel and this community is about.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think like being as consistent as I could be with as much as I can will help me build up to like what I want to do, and I think like practice makes perfect. I actually have a great book to recommend you.
Which one?
The Defining Decade: Why Your 20s Matter, and why you should make the most out of them now. It speaks about three aspects of your life. It speaks about work, love, and mind. And it speaks about like dating intentionally, like with someone who, you know, you see a future with, and not someone that you just want to like fall into the next stage of your relationship. Like, you know, if you move in together for convenience sake of like, oh, it's cheaper, then like the only next step is like marriage. So people just like, oh,
now we'll get married.
Now we'll get married.
And
oh, now we'll have kids. Oh, now 30 years later, like we see that like we have kids and all this stuff, but like I think we should get a divorce because our values aren't in line as much as we thought. And the same goes for work, you know, for what you're doing every day. Same goes for like mind, for the things, the media we consume, the things we spend our time doing. Like I think it's super important, and I feel that book gave me like a lot of perspective on like living an intentional life. Yeah,
amazing. Are you dating here? How do you find the dating scene in Tel Aviv?
I think it's like good and social. I deleted dating apps. I don't know if we'll keep this in. We'll see. I deleted dating apps like 2 months ago, and I'm not anti them. I just think for me, from like a psychological standpoint, I would like check them more than I wanted to, and I also think that like satisfied my urge of interaction.
Yeah.
Which like was not good, you know. I love like speaking to people but I also believe that if something's meant to happen, it's meant to happen.
I'm hearing like from so many of my friends and people our age, number one, so many people our age are starting to come back to Judaism in their own way.
Yeah.
So many people. Everybody has this like emptiness inside them that they're trying to fill, and they don't know what to do about it. So many people.
Yeah.
And what comes along with that, from what I found, is this idea of intentional dating. Tel Aviv is Sin City. Absolutely Sin City. If you want to be a degenerate, this is the city to be a degenerate in. But there's so many people after October 7th that are like, hang on, what is the purpose of life?
Yeah.
Where is my life going and what should I be doing?
Yeah.
And people are starting to live their life with more intention.
Yeah.
And a big piece of that is dating.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I mean,
I think even from like a non-religious standpoint, not on dating specifically, but like on, there's things in the religion that just like make so much sense. Like praying, like I struggled so much for a long time with like praying because like I don't fully understand the words that I'm saying, and I felt like I was just like checking a box putting my tefillin on, so like I stopped completely. And I had 2 conversations that changed my mind on that, and one of the conversations was, you know, someone telling me, it's like, yeah, but it's nice that it's part of the routine. Like, you know, let it be routine, and eventually you'll get back the kavanah that you need for it. And I really appreciated that. And then another friend who mentioned to me, like, listen, I take prayer as like my time to like practice gratitude, and like taking the religiousness out of it, like practicing gratitude is something that like does bring a higher quality of life, is something that like even non-religious people practice, that is like
100%.
healthy and good for your mind and good for your perspective, good for your attitude. So as I'm finding my way in the religion, like I've just found these like also like secular ways that like make sense to me and aren't like about the black and whiteness of it, I feel.
You also don't necessarily have to say the prayers that are in the books.
That's true.
You can say your own prayer.
I've read the prayers in English. When I go for like Kabbalat Shabbat, I love the community aspect of like singing together. And sometimes I'll just like go on my own and read in English.
But like, I mean, even in your daily life.
Yeah.
Like at night, I wrote a prayer for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with things that I really want to work on, that I want guidance and help with working on. Then it's things that I'm grateful for, things that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like things that I want. And I read this at night before I go to bed. And you can read bits and pieces. There's some days I feel like I need more help with some things than others. Some days I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I need to practice some gratitude right now. And I just read a gratitude piece. It's not a prayer that comes out of one of the books. It's not in Hebrew. It's in English. It's in my own words.
Amazing.
But I feel like it does a similar effect.
It does, 100%. 100%.
You're taking a second for yourself and you're saying, this world I'm not creating this. I'm trying to think of how to put it. It's like the things that happen in my life are greater than me, and they happen for me, and I take advantage of the opportunities, but it's not me making it happen. And when you can take yourself out of it and have gratitude and appreciation for the higher being and faith that what's supposed to happen will happen, and that God is protecting you and walking with you every step of the way, I don't think one prayer over the next
I agree.
makes such a difference. My rabbi might disagree, but
Yeah. No, but I agree a lot, and which is why like these like rejections, let's say, if something's meant to be, it's gonna be.
100%.
I don't stress too much over it. How has dating been for you?
Dating's been interesting. I'm in a place right now where I'm kind of taking some time for myself. I have a lot to focus on and a lot to work on.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
No, not. Oh wait, that wasn't like a dig. That was like you doing big things. Like you're doing amazing stuff.
No, it's okay. I've kind of reached a point where I know what I'm looking for. And I'm only dating with intention now.
Good. Amazing.
And so if things don't fit into my life the way that I would like them to, or I don't feel supported, there's no room for it not in my life. My biggest goal in life, it's changed. Like I said, I wanted to build an empire. My biggest goal in life is a successful, happy, loving, supportive marriage, because if you have that, it is the foundation to everything else. It is the key to the rest of your life and achieving all of your goals. And so it's my focus, but at the same time I have my own things I need to work on right now and find myself in order to be able to come to a relationship 100% in that way.
I agree.
So, but the guys are always creepy. The guys are always
Israelis,
creepy.
Yeah. You're like pretty recently moved here. Do you know, like, future-wise, I don't know, do you think you'd raise a family in Israel? Do you see both possibilities? What are your...
I'll probably end up splitting my time.
But that's also in a perfect world. Let's say, like, when you have kids, like, you don't want to be bringing your kids, like, 6 months. Where's, like, the base? Like, what, summers, maybe in one of the two?
I don't know.
It's fine. I don't know either. It's fine.
I take it day by day, opportunity by opportunity. I go where I'm needed. If something happens in the States and I'm needed in the States, I'll go.
We'll see how it goes.
If I feel a pull to go somewhere else in the world, I'll go there. I think we're so... And listen, I struggle with this too. Like, we look at life and the world how we're raised.
Yeah.
And so our perspective is shaped by our upbringing. And so when you're raised in a certain environment where it's like you go to college, you get a job, you raise a family, you retire, that's your life, that's what you're used to. But we live in a world now where that's not your only option.
I agree.
And so I know one thing for sure, my kids will be homeschooled.
Really?
I'll tell you that much, yeah.
Whoa.
100%.
Tell me more.
Look at our school systems. I'm talking about specifically in America.
Yeah, let's talk about America. I've never thought to homeschool my kids, but growing up, there were so many times that I was like, this is crazy that this works this way, and when I'm older, I'm going to be a teacher because I want to like do it correctly, but I also like don't want to be a teacher. Even though I love working with kids, like I would be a teacher later in my life, but I think I want to do like some business stuff first and then later, but
there's homeschool programs with tutors and stuff. Like you don't have to do it yourself. It's no longer the parent necessarily homeschooling the kid, but as a parent, you want control over what your kids are learning.
100%.
And I have zero trust in our school systems in America. I absolutely do not want my kids being taught some of the values that they're teaching in these school systems, and I want my kids to be able to think for themselves.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, honestly. It gave me an interesting perspective because it's something that like it's the sentiment I agree with, but I never even considered homeschooling, but that's interesting.
The kids that are homeschooled are so freaking smart, and it's not a weird thing to do anymore.
Yeah.
It's becoming so normalized.
Yeah. Is there any like specific type of volunteering that people are most drawn to from the group?
Soldiers.
Would you say?
Anything soldiers.
anything like to like donate
Barbecues.
to soldiers or the barbecues are good.
I love the barbecues. Barbecues are fun.
Yeah, they are. I did. You know Operation Gratitude? So I volunteered with them on Yom Ha'atzmaut, where they like threw a party in Tel Aviv, soldiers for free or highly reduced price, and like also other people. I was on the grill. It was a great time. Amazing. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's so fun. Jeff Seidel does a ton of barbecues if you ever want to go.
Yeah, I see his too. I'm in so many group chats. Too many. Yeah.
I wake up sometimes and check my phone and I'm like, I need to go back to sleep.
Another day.
It takes me so long to get back to my messages, and before this, you could, like, my friends would tell you if you texted me, you were not getting a response, and now I will like take a day out of the week and go through all my old messages.
Good. You're doing this like kind of full time. What else are you working on that you don't mind sharing?
Full time, of course. Full time. I'm also doing like marketing and sales consulting for an Israeli-based company in the States.
You did mention that.
They're great. They're super supportive. An incredible company.
Amazing.
Called Leave a Mark. And I'm learning a lot, and it's super flexible, which is nice.
Amazing.
But this is pretty much this is the start of me leaving a legacy behind.
Amazing.
So
I think it's going to be a great legacy.
Thank you.
Do you have like any hobbies that you enjoy doing?
Hobbies. My mom's the queen of hobbies.
Yeah.
I don't know how she's so productive in a day.
That's amazing.
I don't have like my essentials, daily to-dos, read, work out, whether it's yoga, functional training, class, whatever, and sleep 7 to 8 hours a day.
Amazing.
And then there's always something happening. I'm super social, so I love meeting people.
Yeah, that's great.
What about you?
Hobby-wise?
Yeah.
I love going to the beach. I love going to the beach. I like being active. I don't love the gym, but I love being active. So I play tennis, pickleball, basketball less frequently than I'd like to. Spike ball, if you know spike ball.
You could be so active here without going to the gym.
It's amazing. I really love it. Reading as well, blogging a little bit, podcasting now, and yeah, I'm social in general. So just being out and about, I think is good. I've been trying to like meal prep, even though sometimes my schedule doesn't allow it. And cooking.
Sweet.
Enjoying life. What's the biggest challenge of putting together a nonprofit and running it?
Being a young leader, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel out of place leading a team. Sometimes first of all, I make mistakes. And not taking those mistakes personally and understanding that this is a learning phase for me and a learning curve is a big challenge.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge, but there's one way to get really good at something, and that's to fully immerse yourself into
100%.
it. And so, yeah, I'm super thankful for my team. I have amazing people I work with, amazing group, but challenges, I think that's probably being young and learning, the learning curve, and figuring out what's next. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm sitting in front of my computer and I'm like, okay, what do I work on next? Everybody talks about starting a business and doing this and doing that. It's like, yeah, it's great. Opening up a nonprofit is similar to starting a business. And one of the hardest parts is figuring out, what do I do? Okay, I want to do this, and how do I get there?
Yeah.
So figuring the steps out.
I hear you. And what motivates you?
Leaving a legacy behind.
Leaving a legacy?
Making an impact in the world.
It's amazing.
Truly changing people's lives for the better.
What's your message to the world? Inspiration time.
Inspiration time. Step out of your comfort zone and do something that's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Because while it may be hard, while it may be uncomfortable, it will be a memory that will be with you forever. And when you get outside and you just take action and do something, whether it's going for a walk, going to a coffee shop, it really doesn't matter. Get out of your house and do something. Go outside. Things happen when you're in the world and you're engaging and you're moving around. Mm-hmm. Things don't happen for you when you're just sitting. Scrolling on Instagram. Yeah. And so make your life happen for you. There are so many things to learn in this world. So many people to meet. So many experiences to have. Mm-hmm. So many things to do. So take advantage, because you don't want to look back at this time and say like, wow, I wasted all this time. And listen, we all do it. I find myself scrolling way more often than I should.
Me too.
But consciously trying to make a change and working on yourself and getting outside into the world is
beautiful. And if it's different, what advice do you have for someone that has an idea living in their head that they like have yet to put into fruition?
You don't want to live your life with regrets saying, I should have done that, I wish I would have. So just start. And it doesn't have to be big. You don't have to take huge steps, but start working towards your goal. Like you said, if you don't start now, when? Like,
it's not now, when?
You have not. Now when? You create the world for you. I mean, look at this square behind me. Dizengoff Square. This is a memorial that's kept up by the community. And so every 7th we bring candles here and we do a huge candle lighting. It's something I just enjoy doing. And so I just do it. Like, I think in this world, and people have asked me, oh, who keeps this up? Who's in charge of it? It's like, if you want to do something, do it. I'm a big believer in ask for forgiveness, not permission, in all senses of it.
Amazing.
And if you have the ability to start something that's been on your mind, you are stealing from the world by not doing it and by not following.
Amen. Amen.
So that's my inspiration. Sword of Iron, Israel Volunteer Opportunities. You check out our website also, IsraelVolunteerOpportunities.com. And follow us on Instagram at swordofiron.israelvolunteer. We'll be posting once we actually open up our nonprofit and get some more initiatives going. And thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy you were here. My podcast on Spotify, Into Reality on YouTube, Into Reality Podcast. On Instagram, Into Reality Pod. Thank you for listening. For the 3 or 4 people that might listen to this. And thanks for being here, Yocheved.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing.
3 or 4 for now.
For now.